Well, welcome everybody. I am Lisa Petrich, the Youth Director here at Unity of Olympia, and I'm so happy you've joined me here today. We are continuing our series on finding your Zen, and our lesson today is on attention and on the magic of nature. So let's start with prayer. If you'll get your prayerful mindset on, so you want to get quiet for a second, and you can get your candle if you've got your candle. And you can say this with me. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing us together today. May we live, love, and grow from one another. May we be present and mindful to our own self-awareness. Our Bible quote today is from Isaiah, and it says, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." I love this picture and the trust that this little girl has. I know she's harnessed, but still, sometimes even harnessed, we can have trouble with climbing. And she just knows she has faith in herself and faith in her abilities, and her faith in God helps her get up that rock wall. And there's times that we have to remember we are supported all the time through God. God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. One way we remember how special we are is to think about I am statements. I am is really important. When you put a word after those two words, it's claiming your power. So when you say these with me, I am smart, I am kind, I am silly, I am honest, I am brave, I am loved. And just feel the power that shifts the energy when you use your I am statements. Your coloring sheet this week that I'll be sending out, or your affirmation, is just the simple I am, but it has all these wonderful words that you can just color around it to remind yourself who you are. And I just love one of the little kid on the beach. He says, "I am happy out here. Dirty feet, messy hair, and wild water on my skin. Out here with the wild things. That is where I belong." And a lot of times, we're going to be talking about that connection to nature today and how important it is, and just being outside, how it can shift your energy just from one thing to another. Just being outside, it can change the way you feel in a day. So today I'm going to talk about Play-Doh. I hope some of you got some Play-Doh. Some of you got them in your mindfulness boxes. We sent out Play-Doh, and this is about being creative. The Play-Doh is to remind you to take the time to be creative. I started really working with my creativity a long time ago with an author by the name of Julia Cameron. And she just, simple basic principles tell us that creativity is our way, is our expression of God. It's who we are. So taking the time to play with creative tools is really important. So what do you want to make with the Play-Doh? We could make, I'm thinking, let's make a heart. Let's see if we can make a heart. If you have your Play-Doh, let's make a heart together. See if you can find your way to make your Play-Doh look like a heart. Now, it may not be a perfect heart, but it's okay. Another thing is, I tell my kids this at school. When you do art, it's not about making a photograph. It's not about yours coming out just exactly like mine. It's about your expression and what it looks like. So here's my heart. It's a little funky, but it's a good one. It's a good one. We can make it look good. There we go. How did your heart come out? I hope it came out well. Another thing you can do with your Play-Doh, I used to make these all the time when I was a kid, is I would just make a bowl. And you know what I would do? I would take a little piece separate, a few little pieces separate. I would make a bowl, and then I would make little round, either noodles or peas went inside my bowl. What's going to go inside your bowl? So you could take the other little ones and make a little round ones for peas. So you just make little tiny round ones and put them in here. Or you can take and make spaghetti and make it a little longer and make some noodles. Make them like really thin. There you go. So you can make different things. Mine was always around food. And look at that. We have a little smiley face there. Oh, lost an eyeball. There we go. So Play-Doh is fun, and Julia Cameron also says it's about the process, not the product, meaning sometimes it doesn't matter how it comes out. What's more important is that you take the time to show up and that you learn from your experience and you keep that growth mindset of knowing that you can make mistakes and just keep going and learn. So another thing you may have gotten in your boxes, I've started mine, is your watercolor pictures. We did watercolors, and look how neat it is that it's black and white, and I take a little bit of water, and I put it on here, and that black and white turns a different color. So like this whole other area over here is a yellow. It's a yellow. And when it dries, it'll be darker. And then you can just, it seems like the black ink is actually paint. It's actually paint. So showing up. So what do you do for your creativity? Do you show up for your art? Creativity is a natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. That's from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. And it's been very much an inspiration to me to learn how to allow myself to be creative. Because sometimes I can get caught up in I'm not good enough, or mine doesn't look as good as someone else's, and I just don't give myself the time to do it. And it's really important to take the time to be creative. I'm going to tell you a secret. Tomorrow, well, today's Friday when I'm actually making this video, and tomorrow is Saturday, and they talked about it being a music Sunday for all around the world. It's a music Sunday, and you can go around and maybe you saw some music if you're watching this on Sunday. People are supposed to be playing with it on their porches. And I'm going to take some time and go out and play tomorrow. I might play with my violin or my drum or my guitar and just take some time to play with the music. And we'll see what happens. And I'm not doing it for any kind of product, meaning I'm not doing it for any reason except for to enjoy the music. Just to enjoy the music. So remember your creative tools this week. Use those creative tools. Some of you got wiki sticks. Wiki sticks can also be creative. You can make different things with them. And we are going to move forward now to, we're talking about that I am again. Oh, not yet. We're going to talk about the I am in a minute. We're going to talk about our mindfulness. So our mindfulness this week is about feet, seat, and hands practice. It's about where your focus is. So I'm going to read to you, read with me if you'd like. It says, in mindful practice, you will learn to move your attention to different parts of your body by creating sensations to focus your thoughts on. So first, stamp your feet for the time it takes you to breathe in and out once. Stamping my feet, and then pause and notice the sensation of your feet on the floor. So in other words, move the energy. And so maybe breathe out a few times and just stamp your feet, move around. And then notice your feet. Notice the sensation of on the floor. And the second exercise says you can gently lean forward and then side to side 3 times and sit still. And are you sitting on the chair? Can you feel where you were sitting on the chair? Pretty cool. And the next one is on the back here. And it says, notice how you can move your focus to different parts of your body. So sometimes mindfulness is about really being aware. What is my body feeling? How am I doing? Do I need to move more? Have I moved too much? And so we want to be just aware and mindful of our body. So this last exercise has us doing something with our hands. We want to rub our hands together, kind of like we did before, for the count of 10. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. And then just focus on the feelings in your hands. Notice how you moved your attention through your whole body. So focus on the hands first. They feel a little tingly. You can feel the energy. They're a little warmer than maybe what they were before you started. But I definitely feel a difference in my hands when I take and put my focus on the body. So we do this in a meditation sometimes. You know, when you really start a meditation and you want to quiet your mind, you can start from your toes and wiggle your toes and then stop. Then wiggle your whole foot and then you can stop. Wiggle your legs and then you can stop. And you can go all the way up your body to each part of your body, wiggle it, stop. And that is a relaxation technique that helps you to calm down. So maybe if you're in bed at night and you're having a hard time falling asleep, I know there's times that I've had it. Maybe try to do that kind of an exercise with yourself and just get the body to relax, to help it to get to a state where you can fall asleep. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you joined me here for that mindfulness. Our mindfulness exercise. We are going to move forward to that I am. Bob Sima, one of my favorite musicians, has a card that says I am. And his quote from his song is, I know I'm not the name you say, the things I own, or the characters I play. So many times we think, like, I know I'm a teacher. I know I am a wife. I am a mom. All those roles we play are sometimes, they're part of our character, but they're not who we are. The essence of who we are is something so much more. I am more than a teacher. I am more than a mother. I am more than a wife. I'm more than a daughter. Because there are different roles I play. And because where was I before I got here? Where am I going to go when I leave? Those kind of questions. So we know we're more. Let's look at the back and see what he says. In the back of his card, it says, naming anything strips away its magic and its true identity. We have a name for everything, but only because of our shared agreements we created through characters and alphabets in the language for both written and verbal communication. The truth? Well, it was here before the words. The truth of you needs no words, no labels, no titles, and no names. Lose some of those words. Not all of them, just the ones that follow these two words. I am. Because when you sink down past the words, you enter the world of essence, of eternality, of unchanging parts. You recognize I am as a complete sentence and a complete identity. So you are just because you're here. And you repeat those words, I am, I am, I am, I am. Now if David was here, he'd be going, the Popeye song, I am, I am, I am. Or no, maybe that's a different song from Unity. I have to think about that. But it's important to, I think they talk about that as becoming like a child. Now, many of you that are watching could be children or be with your kids. But think about before they knew what the word was, they just saw the thing. And the marvel of just what it is. There's times when we see something new and we don't know what it is, and our minds want to find that name. Have you ever come across something you didn't know what it was, and you wanted to find the name for it? So we went over to Woodard Bay, and we went walking. David and I went walking down one of the paths, and it was a bird sanctuary path. And we got to the end of the path, and there were lots and lots of birds, and they were making so much noise. We didn't know what kind of birds they were, but we were in awe of all of the birds that were there. How many? I mean, there were so many birds that the trees had changed shape and color because of the birds. There were so many birds that you couldn't keep your eyes in one place. There were so many birds. And the only word I had for it was birds, but it was also kind of a miracle feeling of, I've never seen anything like that before. That was really cool. And maybe you get that sometimes when you, especially as a child, you find there's so many new things that you might even feel a little overwhelmed with it. But the truth of the matter is God's always expressing himself or herself, spirit, through nature. So really becoming connected with that and learning to let go of those words and just say I am is really important for your own spiritual growth. So your commitment this week is to chant, I am, I am, I am. And he says to do it for 10 minutes every day. Maybe we'll just try for 2. Try for 2. Maybe adults can do 10. Or maybe if you're not ready, try 5. Try 5. All right, here we go. We're moving on to our Made Out of Stars lesson. And we've got another quote here from the book. I did get 5 books in this week. If anybody would like one of them, let me know. I have 5 books to give away. This book is really neat. It's got a way for self-realization and a way to journal and a nice quote that goes with each time you come up. It doesn't have to be a daily thing. It can be when you want to. And I'm enjoying the book. So, and it's by Mira Lee Patel. So let's look at our wonderful quote this week. Everything is made out of magic. Leaves and trees, flowers and birds, badgers and foxes and squirrels and people, so it must be all around us. So everything is made out of magic and the magic of nature. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's see if we've got this pulled up here. I wanted to tell you some things about the magic of nature. So I want to think back to our Bible quote. Everything is made out of, we've got the everything is made out of magic, this quote, and then the Bible quote. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. Now, you've got two quotes here. The wonder of nature is portrayed in a fairy tale-like sort of fashion. In this quote, that the animals appear to be gentle, kind, and loving. The world is a beautiful place. Except sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the world has natural disasters, and we've been hearing about those. If you've been anywhere near the news, you've heard that we've had double hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. We've had fires in California. We've had earthquakes and tornadoes in the past couple weeks in the Midwest. And even here in Washington, we had some sort of hornets that were killing our bees. And not to mention, we have a pandemic that's keeping us home. So we may not feel that magic of nature. We may be a little bit fearful and have to remember that God is present all the time and that the earth is always trying to be in balance. So nature is always attempting to balance out what is happening to her. And sometimes you may be fearful of hearing about these events. Yet God says to not be afraid. Find your faith. Prayer works. Send loving energy to each of these places and look around you to know you are safe. So when you see those things, sometimes we just need to focus on one thing that can bring us safety. Sometimes I focus on an angel. An angel can bring safety to me, or a feeling of safety. Sometimes my focus is just holding Mr. Petrich's hand, and maybe you need to hug a mom or dad or hug a friend. Sometimes you may need to call somebody and talk to them. But there's times when we're feeling that, and we have to go ahead and remind ourselves that there is a God, there is a balance, and you are protected, and you are safe. So another thing you can do is to go outside and do a God walk to remind you of your safety. God walks are when you walk outside and you see, where do I see God? Where do I see God? I did many of these in YOU, in the Youth of Unity, when I was a sponsor with them, and they were very connecting. Most of us picked up a leaf or a fresh, we noticed the wind or the water or just the trees and how present they were. And sometimes maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's more like the walk in the woods I did where I saw those birds. There's doing a God walk is your own personal. You don't take your phone with you. You're not doing music. The God walk is more just about listening to the world around you and finding the beauty in nature. So use your senses to be in nature and feel how big the world is. And know that the same energy that created the mountains and the trees thought it would be special to have you here too. But there may be more. My friend on Facebook said, stop praying for California fires and get active in stopping global warming. Well, we can do both. Be an advocate for California fires by being an advocate for stopping global warming. Be an advocate for our environment. Prayer is useful, and sometimes we are called to action. And my message is to do both. Don't think you have to do one or the other, do both. We are all connected in one way or the other. What we think, other people are thinking. We have a collective consciousness. Have you ever heard of the 100th monkey syndrome? The 100th monkey syndrome is where monkeys are on an island, they start washing fruit and realizing when they wash the fruit tastes better. But other monkeys don't wash the fruit, they're just eating it on other islands. But once it gets to the tipping point of like 100 monkeys, all of a sudden monkeys on another island start washing fruit because they pick up the concept. And it's the same with us. We are energy and we are connected to one another. So when many of us are thinking positive thoughts and or thinking love towards something, we can bring about change in that something. So thinking love toward those wildfires, just praying for the people that are in the wildfires, knowing that they can find safety, praying for the animals, praying for the people in the way of the hurricane. It's really important to connect ourselves in that way, but not to get so caught up in it that we can't move forward in our own lives. So finding that connection to know you're safe, even when other things are happening, is so important. So do a God walk this week, and then I want you to use your journal page. You're going to get a journal page if you're, I guess, 9 and up. You're doing writing about that God walk. Tell me more about it. And then also I want you to write about what makes you feel connected to your heart, your spirit, your sense of self. What is it that makes you feel connected? Do more of that. Do more of that. If it's a creative venture, do more of that. It's an exercise. Do more of that. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like you're a part of this earth? Sometimes we get caught up in so many other things, and we need to make sure we're taking the time to look up at the stars and the trees and the beauty that is around us. I have so enjoyed bringing this lesson to you today. I want you to think now about, if we could, think about which of the 5 principles we talked about today, which one do you think applies? 1, God is good and active in everything, everywhere. 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and everyone. 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. 5, I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. You make a difference too. Oh, let's close. I can't believe it's already time to close. I want to just keep talking to you. And I wish I could see your faces. So please send me pictures. I love seeing the pictures. I got pictures this week. And I want to share them with you. And I am going to share them with you next time. Thank you. Our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for being here today. Be blessed.